Hi guys, my name's that movie nerd. You know me because you're, obviously watching my video right now. And I'm here with Timothy Zahn, who is essentially, I like to think of him as like the creator of the expanded universe of Star Wars.
I kickstarted it back in 1991. So.
Absolutely, yeah. And I wanted to just ask a few quick questions. He generously agreed to do so. My first question is, you wrote essentially the first Star Wars expanded universe book. What was that like? Did you have an idea? Did somebody come up to you and say, hey, we want like a new Star Wars book, or...
Well, first of all, to clarify, there were seven other books besides novelizations in the original Star Wars pantheon. There were the 3 Han Solo books, 3 Lando Calrissian books, Splinter of the Mind's Eye, and of course novelizations. What I got to do was the first novelist who could write after Return of the Jedi, and therefore use all the movie characters. So that gave me a great cast to work with. And it did kickstart the new era of the expanded universe, now Legends. What happened was my agent called me November of '89, said that Lucasfilm and Bantam had decided to do 3 new novels set after Return of the Jedi, and they were offering them to me. Was I interested? So there was no beating on people's doors, no pestering them with story ideas or anything. Do you want to do these books? Tell us what you'd like to write.
That's really interesting. Like, part of the 3 novels, like that everybody knows, is the character of Thrawn. How did you come up with that character? Did you come up with that? Was that part of them saying, hey, we're looking for like 3 new novels? Like, was that a character they had in mind, or?
This was my idea entirely. What I wanted was to do something that felt like Star Wars, but not what Lucas had already done. So no Death Star, no super weapon, no Vader type, no Emperor type. Well, Vader rules by fear. The Emperor rules by manipulation. A more dangerous villain is someone who can rule through loyalty. Because if the troops are loyal to him, they will fight for him whether he's looking over their shoulder or not. So what kind of character would the troops be loyal to? Good strategist, great tactician, cares about the troops, et cetera, and Grand Admiral Thrawn just fell out of that equation.
That definitely came through in the novels when I read them. I read those books, when I was probably about 8 or 9, because that to me was episodes 7, 8, and 9. I'm sure a lot of people have told you that, but actually that actually...
I always thought of them as episodes 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3. So.
Oh, really? That's an interesting way of putting it. That kind of leads into my next question. When they announced Disney bought Star Wars and we're going to make episodes 7, 8, and 9, what was your instant reaction when you thought of your books? Did you think they were going to adapt your books? Did you think they were going to which is kind of what they did, delete your books, or what was your?
Well, they didn't delete them. They just made them taken them off stage, off to the shadows. They are now in the category of Robin Hood and the Camelot, which we still do stories about.
Right.
So it's not like they're gone. No, I knew because we'd had the prequels already. I knew that Lucas's original idea of skipping a generation each time meant that they wouldn't be doing the Thrawn Trilogy. Now, you could have adapted it for the next generation, but that would have been tricky to do. So, no, my first thought was, and the second thought was, new movies.
I think that was
first thought. So, no, we always knew that anything Lucas decided to do could run over some of the stuff we had written. Various books have been demolished or superseded or overwritten. Vector Prime killed off Chewbacca. Well, he's back in the movie, so obviously that never happened. So it's always been a hazard of getting to play in George's sandbox, but it's so much fun that we're always willing to take that risk.
And your new novel now, Thrawn, which Thrawn was re-entered into the universe in Star Wars Rebels in a different way. How did that come about? Because I know Rebels came before your book was published. They put Thrawn back in. How did that come out? Did they work with you? Did they want Thrawn in the new timeline?
They told me about 8 months before the Thrawn was announced, Season 3 was announced at Celebration London. They told me he was going to be in Season 3. Now, because it's an animated series and the lead time is so long for that, they were well into production before they were able to tell me about it. So there was nothing, I had no input into that. What I did get to do was, because Thrawn was going to be a prequel to Season 3, I was able to get access to the scripts where Thrawn has a major presence, so I could see some of the things he was doing, some of the things other people were doing, and incorporate them into the backstory. So, for example, you see Thrawn doing some martial arts sparring. I put in a reason in the book why he might do that. We see Arinda Price doing that same sort of thing, set up how she is, the impetus for her to learn self-defense. You see Thrawn and Governor Price and Tarkin meeting together, but it doesn't feel, and Yularen, Colonel Yularen, but none of those felt to me like a first meeting. Okay, if this is not their first meeting, what was? And I could go back then in the prequel book and set those up. So I didn't get any input on the series, but I got to kind of work a backstory of not just Thrawn, but Price and some of the other characters as well.
That's so it's a big group project essentially, like you and Disney and.
They didn't do that much. I would do what I thought was right, and then they would look at it and either say yes or no. And I don't know if Disney was ever actually involved. It was the Lucasfilm people. I think Disney just kind of oversees everything.
And I know you can't tell us much, but are you working on any more any original novels or Star Wars novels currently, or?
I've got a couple of proposals for Star Wars books in at Del Rey, but they have to be vetted and approved by Lucasfilm. And with The Last Jedi coming out in a few months, Lucasfilm is working very slowly on everything not having to do with that movie. So I'm expecting to be waiting for quite a while yet before I get any kind of approval or disapproval or approval with changes or anything like that. So it's a matter of we all have to be patient. Hopefully they'll let me do some more books, but we have to wait and see.
And then, of course, my last question. I know you can't say definite or not, but there was another character you introduced in the Thrawn Trilogy called Mara Jade that I really loved. Would you like to see her come back in either the movies or in some way? Or do you have any ideas on how they could bring her back in this new timeline?
I would love to see her back in canon. I have lots of ideas of how to do that. I have not heard anything at all about any plans to do so. Which doesn't mean it's not in the works. It could be. They don't have to ask permission or get any approval or anything from me. All I know is we've got Thrawn back. Give them time to, come to the same conclusion we all have, that Mara should be back too. But we'll see. Again, their project, their material. We'll see what they do.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for these wonderful books that we all really love. Like, you are ingrained in the Star Wars universe forever, basically. So, thank you so much. This is Kevin Morrison, That Movie Nerd, signing off with Timothy Zahn.